This is probably the smallest presentation I've ever done. I make a lot of speeches quite often. 2 slides. That's it. Usually it's very, very long. But then when I heard that it was 20 minutes and what the conversation is here, I would rather have a conversation with you rather than just making a speech with a lot of blah, blah, blah that nobody remembers after or didn't take anything. So I wanted to get to one. So yeah, so I run, but I'm not here to promote my company. But a few years ago, I was working in advertising around the world, and we decided to say, I saw so many bad presentations and people investing millions of dollars only to fail miserably when presenting it to the public. And nobody likes PowerPoints, nobody likes looking at them, nobody likes making them. And that goes the same way as making a promotional video or presenting your product. First I'm going to show, I think, the video. I was looking at today, what could we take out of this? Because I'm not here to speak on behalf of the government. That's not my job. That's their job. And number 2, I'm not allowed, I was told. So, but what I want to talk about is the approach on how you make a good presentation and how you can build your reputation by delivering a very, very clear message. I've seen so many strategies. People have like these 20 massive amounts. Every location, everybody was letting us in because everybody wants to promote Ukraine in a very big way. They want people to know what's available. Now, when we make a strategy, as I said, if you want to really create a great reputation for yourself and a great brand, the biggest issue is that people tend to overcomplicate their message. How do I put it exactly? They tend to overcomplicate it. They tend to have like 30 to 100 slides about everything. They think that the deeper and the more it goes, but in the end, people remember only one message. People remember either you sell them or you don't. It's as simple as that. So that's why I developed, I'd say a good 10 years ago, I started developing my own system. And that's the one thing that I wanted to talk to you about today is, if you can walk out with one thing, this is a system that works at the most basic level, 1 page, or you can do it to 100 pages. It depends how complex that you want to do it. It's a system that I developed basically. It's called POST. Maybe some of you have seen it, probably from my past speeches, but it's POST. It's as simple as that. Okay, the overall thing is, I would highly encourage you guys to use this and to use it in all of your thinking when you're making a message, because this is what's really going to help you. The first question is, who's my target audience? Which people am I talking to? Exactly. Now, there's a rational. Who is it? Man, 25, 35, middle manager, blah, 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 on paper. But these people can look different. On paper, they all look identical, but they're completely different because we don't understand the emotional attachment. What kind of people are they? What scares them? What makes them cry? What makes them want to buy something? What motivates them to buy something? So once you understand your rational and everybody agrees to what the rational part is, we then go to the emotional, as I was saying. What excites them, as I was saying? What is their motivation for wanting to buy it? Once everybody agrees on the emotional, then we start saying, what is the one key thing that we're trying to solve? What problem in their life are we trying to solve based on the rational, the emotional, and what's the number one problem? And the biggest issue is too many people are too obsessed with only trying to sell themselves rather than trying to solve an issue for the person. It's like having a conversation. If you're just talking about yourself, nobody's going to buy what you're trying to sell. Well, maybe they will, but they're not going to be convinced. So we got the rational, we got the emotional, and then we get what problem are we solving? Boom. People is now clear. Go on to what is the objective. What is the main objective of the message that I'm trying to deliver? Some clients would come to me and they say, well, I want to sell as many products. I said, that's a result. That's not an objective of what problem that you're trying to solve for the people, for the rational and the emotional. Once the objective, and this is not a mission statement that goes on for 3 paragraphs, 1, 2 lines, no more. Simple is better all the time. Because I'm a creative person, but I'm also a strategist. And I don't have a long attention span to things. I need things fast, and I like them simple. That's the same way people are on the street, or what people are that you're trying to sell. They don't have time to analyze your big briefs, your big strategies, and how you're going to change the world in the whole bit. It has to sell a message in 2 seconds. So we got our objective now that answers the people, the rational, the emotional, and the problem. Now that that's solved and everybody agrees, we then go to strategy. And the strategy is, it's almost invisible. It's very, very difficult because usually you understand what it is already before, but you have to prove it by going back to what it is. So the strategy is, what is the message and how are we going to differentiate it to the general public on why that this product is so, and how we're going to differentiate it from our competition. Hence, Ukraine is competing against every other country in the world. But now they need to attract investment. And that's a key part. Once we have our strategy, once the strategy is there, we then can finally go to tactics. The reason why I brought tactics last, this is tactics, it's medias, what television, what print, viral, social, whatever you want to do. Because everybody says, I need a Facebook campaign. And then I tell the clients, okay, congratulations, but what's your aim? Oh, I want it to go viral. I said, you can't make it go viral. People make it go viral. It's impossible to make it go viral. No, but I need, all my competition is there. That's the next big thing that I have to tell all of you. If you need a Facebook, or you need a Twitter, or you need a social campaign, think long and hard about the negative effects. Everybody says, how can I go negative on Facebook? Imagine if I have a small company or a very big company, but I have no strategy and I didn't do post at all for my main message. And guess what? There's only 15 people that have signed up to my Facebook, and guess what? It's all the managers and the families and the wives and the kids that have signed up into it. So I'm a client and I go, guess what happens on that 15 people? What a bunch of losers. I don't want to buy this product. Why should I buy this product? It can make more damage if you don't have a good strategy for your message, again, in a very big way. So you go to your tactics and then you start looking at what really will resonate with the people, and that can be like, how will this one work with another one, will support the other one, will blast into the other one, all the time supporting the people's problem. What is the people's problem and how is that going to help? Always keep asking yourself the same questions all the time, but keep it simple. I've done this for, well, every single client because it's the only way that I understand how to make it move forward. I've had a client once that was a place, for adults, to go back to high school to get their diploma, people who dropped out when they were. And they said, we really need Facebook. No, we need social media, we need everything. I said, okay, but let's do this. Let's spend 20 minutes doing this. Started writing it, we did a little bit of research, nothing hard, because the reality of a good strategy is while there's a lot of strong data out there, it's all from in here. You just got to listen to your gut, and it's usually what it is. So once we started making a little bit of research, we discovered that they had only had one person that had ever signed up to this program via the internet, and that was the daughter of the guy who actually did it. And we discovered that all of their information that they were getting was through newspapers and free newspapers because they were too illiterate to get on a computer and they just were factory workers and all that. So we changed tactics completely and we put everything in newspapers and sales completely skyrocketed with the message because that's what they just read on a Sunday morning or whatever. If we would have gone the route of Facebook again, as I was saying, guess what happens to the message? It doesn't reach the right people and it doesn't reach the right way. It's the same thing, like Ukraine, I don't want to comment because again, it's not my place. but it's still a work in progress. We'll never know what the results are, at least for another 2-3 years, because there's a lot of work behind the scenes. There's a lot of investors, country nets. So this one is a case study in 2-3 years, in my view. So I'm not expecting, but so far I saw the last tourism video that we just launched 5 days ago has already hit 1 million plus views around the world. So that's already resonating with quite a bit of people. So my main issue today is, what's your message? And how are you going to make it resonate to the people? But trust me, I've done this on 1 page in 15 minutes, or I've made a 100-page for an extremely elaborate company because they really needed, they're corporate multinationals, they needed very deep analysis because they're corporate people. But this you can do right now. You can do it very easily for any program. And you'd be surprised how you start saying, shit, I should have done it this way. It's a fact check on what it is. Yeah, this is the shortest strategy, and this is the shortest presentation I've ever made. I said I'm going to go in with one clear message, and we're going to speak about it because, again, maybe I'm repeating myself. If you want to build your reputation and you want to grow who you are, you need to focus on the most simplest item, and that's usually the ones that people overthrow because they try and overcomplicate everything. It's like being in a relationship. Stop complicating it. Do you love her or you don't? It's as simple as that, you know? So that's how I see it. So if there's any questions, I'm ready to... That's up to you. I mean, don't worry about it. Perfect presentation again. That's what I love. Thank you very much. Nice and short. It's not very big, but thank you very much. Okay?